Moms and dads, listen. You're not the problem, but you are part of the solution. And this podcast is here to help you reach with your troubled child. Known as the Teen Whisperer, Jason Clopton counsels young adults and has a proven track record of reaching kids when parents can't. Listen and take notes. This show will help you figure out what's bugging your baby and build a bridge to a better relationship with your kids.
Welcome back to the Teen Whisperer. I am not Brother Jason, but I am Dr. Verna Cornelia Price, and I'm sitting in for Brother Jason as he works to become healthier and whole and get back to you as soon as he can. So my podcast in the podcasting group is Dr. Verna's Virtues. And so if you haven't listened to that, I welcome you to listen to that as well. I have quite a bit of parents and teens that actually listen to that podcast as well. So when I was asked to actually step in and help with Brother Jason's podcast, I thought about what is it that I could share with you as parents, as guardians, as caretakers of youth, young people that might be helpful. And here's what came to me. I'm going to show it to you right here. This came to me right here. And for those of you who are wondering what this is, more than likely you have one. More than likely you have one in your hand. More than likely you are actually looking at me in one right now. So I'm going to ask you, this is called a cell phone. So I'm going to ask you a question. If I told you that I was going to send someone to your house right now, and that they were going to teach your teenagers how to cut themselves, how to lie to you, how to sneak behind your back, how to commit suicide, how to actually learn how to curse and swear at you, how to learn how to hate school, how to even learn how to destroy other people, how to learn how to be and think about themselves as nobody and nothing. If I told you that I was sending that person to your house right now, what would you do? Would you get your house all cleaned up? Would you get fresh flowers and put it on the table? Would you go and gather all of your teenage children and young adults around the table and say, guess what? I am having this person come, and when they're done, they're going to destroy you and our whole family. And then you're going to come and open the door for me? For that person? Is that what you would really do? Really? I would think not. I would think that, first of all, you would probably try to call somebody and get yourself some help. You try to probably get in touch with the local authorities and say someone is threatening me and threatening my family. You probably get your children to a safe place. You'd probably lock all of your doors. You might even take your whole family and get out of there because somebody might know where you live. Wouldn't you? Well, guess what? And I'm talking to you, right? I'm talking to you as a mother, not a professional this and that. I'm talking to you as a mama. So I'm going to call this podcast, right, a mother's war cry in the middle of 2021. What is going on with our children? What is happening to our children? What is happening to your child? When was the last time you went upstairs or went down the hall? Have you noticed that your teenager comes home, goes straight to their room, they lock their door, the room is dark, they're dark, all of a sudden they're just wearing dark clothes all. Don't you think something's going on? And so as a mother, as a caretaker, as a guardian, you need to get a war cry. And what does that mean? It's time to fight for your kids. Fight for your children. Don't just allow them to be sucked into the vortex of the cell phone. Do you know what's in here? Do you know what's in here? Every and anything that you can possibly think of that could destroy you and your family can be accessed right here. Now, some of you might say, now, Dr. Verna, that's not really fair because you know what? I'm using my cell phone right now to listen to you. That's a good thing. Of course, it's a good thing. Can this very same tool be used for good? Absolutely. But I can tell you, here's what's happening for a lot of our teenagers. A lot. And this might be happening to you too, and to your young person, is that you have given them a phone and that there absolutely is no accountability for what's going on with this phone. And so your children are literally being sucked into a vortex of people, circumstances, videos, information that literally could destroy them. And I call it a vortex because here's what happens. Once you start in one place, it sucks you into another place. Then it sucks you into another place. Before you know it, your 13-year-old is in this deep, dark tunnel where their friends are sending them videos on how to commit suicide. And you wonder how come something's going on. And here's what I think. I don't think our young people so much have a mental health issue. I think many of them have a cell phone technology issue. Because what? They're being sucked into this. Now, let me just step back a little bit. As an educator, a young person, right, until they're reached, I think about the age, maybe 24, maybe 23, 24. Biologically, in your brain development, the last place to develop is called your prefrontal cortex. It is this spot right here in your brain. Now, here's what's so interesting about this prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is where you make decisions about morality, about ethics, about how to make critical decisions about what's right and what's wrong. It all happens here in the prefrontal cortex. Now, teenagers, their prefrontal cortex is still developing. It's soft, which means one day they can understand, like, oh, yeah, I get that. I get what's going on. And the next day, it's as if they don't recall what you even said. They don't know how to make a good decision. You know, their friend, just a parent just told me this just the other day, right? The friend sends a TikTok video, crazy TikTok video, right? Of how to cut yourself. Now, why would you want your child to get anything and destroy themselves? But no, because the prefrontal cortex is still soft, your child is like, oh, well, my friend sent it to me, so they must be my friend, so they must want the best for me, so I'm going to watch it, not understanding that what you're really watching is an instructions on how to destroy yourself. So as parents, as mamas, as guardians, as daddies, right? Even teachers, if you're listening to this podcast, even teachers, because you know our young people, their prefrontal cortex is not set. It's unstable. They don't quite know how to make those really difficult decisions. What you've got to do is you've got to give them, first of all, accountability and expectations for what? The use of this. And this cell phone is not a toy. It's a tool. Let me say that again. This cell phone is not a toy. It's a tool. But here's what's happening. This is truth. This is so hard. Some of you are going to turn me off right now. You're going to say, Dr. Verna, forget you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Okay? For some of us, we have allowed the cell phone to become surrogate parents to our children. Our children aren't listening to us. They're listening to their cell phone. So whatever TikTok video shows up, whatever YouTube video shows up, whoever shows up, you don't know these people. You don't know these people. And here these people are in the face of your children, telling them what to do every day. And if your children happen to get connected to a group of friends because they're FaceTiming, they're always chatting with each other. If they happen to get to a group of friends whose prefrontal cortex also is not developed, who have gotten themselves sucked into a vortex of evil, right? Of a lifestyle where they are just evil thinking. They want to hurt themselves. They want to hurt other people, right? They have all committed to literally having mental health issues. And if you think that I'm joking about this stuff, here's what, when I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to give you a job to do. And it's going to be a very difficult job to do. And what I'm going to say to you is, as you do this job, take a deep breath. If you drink some tea, drink your tea slow, because this is going to be painful for you. Okay? First of all, the cell phone is a tool. It's not a toy. Secondly, the cell phone is for resources. It is not for parenting. Third, the cell phone itself has to be monitored. You've got to do what I call a parent, guardian, caretaker audit of your child's cell phone. That means that you've got to take the cell phone, you've got to get all of the passwords, you have to go in with all of the passwords, and you have to go into every account. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Now, there's some of you going, well, what about the rights of my child? What about the rights of your child? Because when it's all said and done, and your child is in some sort of unit trying to commit suicide, you know who they're going to call? They're going to call you. And when they call you, what are you going to say? You gave them the right to destroy themselves? Absolutely not. That is your child. You are responsible for them, for their well-being. So as a parent, this is hard stuff. It's not easy stuff to do. It's hard to do. It's painful. And when you do that audit and go through, you may see some ugly stuff. You may hear some ugly stuff. Your little sweet child who you thought never swore, sure enough, they're swearing to their friends in Messenger. They're swearing to their friends on Instagram. It may be painful. But don't allow it to keep you from learning what's the reality, what's really going on with your child, what is really sucking them in. And then when you're done with that audit, you come back and have a conversation with your child. Make it a loving conversation. Make it a conversation of grace. Because you know what? When we all grew up, in my generation, we didn't have a cell phone, but we had each other. And we were still doing stuff and talking stuff. We still had to be careful. We didn't get sucked into a vortex of other children and people who just had evil on their mind and destruction. It happened to us too. It's just that our parents had to come up to the school and get us. But you know what? I still tell my children, I will come up to the school in the hallway. I will be the mama with the Afro puff up in that school in the hallway, checking you up. Yes, I will. I will just show up, right? I will just show up. Why? I love you. I want a future for you. And guess what? If you need help, if after I've done all this and we've had a conversation of love and grace, and I've set my expectations for you, so now when do you get this phone? You get this phone when you go to school, and you get this phone when you have to make a call to your family and are very, very close friends. And then when you come home, the phone comes to me. It comes in my hand. It gets put away where it's supposed to be, in the phone charging area. And it doesn't get used as a toy. You get to do what? You get to study. You get to come with your family. You get to go outside, experience nature again. You get to exist within your family again. You get to communicate with your family again. Why? Because I have taken you out of the vortex of your phone and out of technology. Now I'm saying the phone, but for you know what? It might be the computer. Audit the computer. See what websites your child's going into. See what is sucking them in. And then you know what you get to do? You get to go into the technology, pull them out, and show them love and grace. And let me tell you, parents, it's going to take some work on your part. And it's going to be painful. And it's going to take a lot of prayer. And it's going to take a lot of time. But let me just finish this by saying, your children need you. They need you more than they need this. They need you more than they need their laptop or their iPad or whatever it is. They need you more than they need technology. They need their parents back. They need their parents and caring adults back. It's the only way that we can balance out what it is that they can get to. And guess what now they get to do? They get to talk about and ask questions. If something comes up on this and they're not sure about it, come to a family meeting. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it, right? Let's be family again. All right. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Verna Cornelia Price, sitting in for Brother Jason. And my podcast is Dr. Verna's Virtues. And you can find out more about me at drvernaprice.com. Thank you for joining us today. And this is hard work, but it's a mama's war cry. But you can do this thing and get your kids back. Bye.
You've been listening to the Teen Whisperer podcast with Jason Clopton, known to his clients as JC the Counselor. Check back every Tuesday for new episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts. Find out more and connect with Jason at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.